Alright, so... Oh, duh, wrong button. Alright, so today we're going to be working on an A1534 that was sent in from one of those lovely mall franchises. As the note says, we are shipping the following: A1534 12-inch MacBook, early 2016. To Rossman Repair Group on 5/8/2018 to have the USB-C charging port diagnosed and repaired. There was a previous attempt to repair the device. Ahem. Shut up, phone. There was a previous attempt to repair the device by replacing the charging port flex and the U4700, as seen in a video by Rossman. Thank you for that. Thank you. And they posted here the original chip. Now, the reason this is scary to me is that my video on the A1534 MacBook and its flaw is concerning the 2015 model, not the 2016 model. So why you took that chip off when this video was on the 2015 model is beyond me. So let's take a look and see if this is the 2016 model, and let's see what we can do. Gonna open this beautiful thing up and pray that it hasn't been too far sodomized. Louis, you're one of my inspirations for learning more about repairing my own electronics. Working on fixing an old busted LCD monitor right now. Oh, best of luck to you. Let's see what we get. Maybe this will be an easy one, Tim. Probably not. Probably not, man. Probably not. Alright. You gotta be careful. So first you gotta open it up like this. Then you gotta open up the bottom very carefully, because this little cable. See this cable? This is a trap laid by Apple. This here is a little trap laid by Apple. So if you do not disconnect this cable while the machine is half open, if you wait to open the machine entirely before unplugging things, you will rip the cable. So you must be very, very careful. And as can be seen here, this is indeed the 2016 model. You can tell by the USB-C IC over here, the CD3215. This is in the 2016 model, not the 15 model. So why somebody replaced U4700 without thinking or measuring or doing any type of real brain work is beyond me. That's no good. So if you follow my videos, keep in mind that my videos do have board model numbers very often in the title, and it'll say the year or the board model. You cannot apply a solution for a broken Ford Focus to a Tesla. You can't apply a specific a solution to a fault on a Tesla to a Corvette. Doesn't work. You have to fix the problem that you have. You don't watch the video and go, huh, it worked on this machine, maybe it'll work on that one. You have to fix the actual problem that you have. So first things first, let's turn on the multimeter and plug this in and see what it is that happens and see what we get. So I'm gonna plug in my USB-C charger. First thing I want to do is see how much voltage is showing up on the main power line, which is the input fuse. I'm going to open up the schematic so that you can see that. This board is an 820-00244. So let's get that on the screen. Now, right over here is our charging port, J9600, which we sell, by the way, if you ever break it, on store.rossmangroup.com. And we're going to look up J9600 over here. And J9600 is going to have a power line, which is, I think is somewhere around the bottom. PPV bus LIO. There we go. And that's going to go through F3050. F3050 is this fuse right over here. So let's see how much voltage we get on that fuse. I'm going to get the multimeter all up on the screen. Thank you, Paul Daniels, for this amazing software. And let's measure. What do we get? All right, as you can see, we have some mall messery over here. So this does not look like it's plugged in right. This piece of metal, instead of being slid under here, is screwed right over this. That's all bent. So before we even get into measuring anything electrical, I'll just for the hell of it, yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll do the first measurement, but I'm not expecting this to even be plugged in properly at this point. So let's measure and see what we get. So at the input fuse, we get 5.2 volts. Now remember, we're supposed to be getting something along the lines of 20, which means that communication is not occurring. Someone says you're too zoomed in. I'm not. That is, you can totally see it. There's no too zoomed in. Right, how about that? How about that? Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Yeah. There. Now we're not zoomed in too much. Is this another shop's fuckery, says Chuck. Yes. This is, I think, I fix and repair. This is... they are known industry-wide for fucking up everything. They're very well known for that. So... it's those shops that you see in the mall. Mall shops are not all the time, but a lot of the times the worst. Okay, so I'm just going to unplug the rest of what's in here, so I can take a look at the board and see what the F was replaced here, what was done, why you do this, as my girlfriend would say. She loves that meme. She walks around the house going, why you do this? She's a meme master. I'm not a meme master, but she's a meme master. Alright, so the first thing that scares me is they said that they replaced U4700. And I don't even know if this board has a U4700. So let's go ahead and figure out what the fuck they did. So I'm going to look that up. This is scary. Okay, so let's go back onto the screen. Right, so U4700 on this board is... it doesn't exist! What the fuck did you replace? Tell me, what did you replace? It says we replaced U4700. There was a previous attempt to repair the device by replacing the charging port flex and U4700 as seen in a video by Rossman. Where's U4700? Where's U4700? Find me U4700. Where? No matches were found. What the fuck were you doing? Why? My video did not say to do this. Do not credit me with this fuckery. Okay. I'm just going to start looking around the board for shit that looks burnt and assume that it was them. Let's see. Let's do that. Fucking horseshit. Fucking horseshit. My videos do not teach you this. Here, let me show you what my video teaches you to do. If you have the year prior to this one, so let's go over and find that. Board schematics. 8200045. If you have this model, the 2015 model, there is a U4700 chip that goes bad. If you have a different fucking board, you do not replace a chip that doesn't even exist. What did you even do? Did you just like... What could this place possibly have done? Like, oh, let's look up a chip that looks almost like that one and just repeat that. What if you put a different chip there than what's actually supposed to go there? What about that? What the fuck am I supposed to do there? All right, let's look. Let's see. So okay, you tell me when you see something that looks like it was burned and fucked up by a mall. Wasn't the original chip taped to the computer? Yes, but I have to figure out where it is on the board. Because see, watch, check this out. They said they replaced U4700. When I click this and I type U4700, don't fucking exist. It's not on this board. What did you replace? Where is the shit that you replaced? So now I'm going to make the assumption that if you're dumb enough to replace a chip that doesn't exist, you're probably too dumb to solder it properly, which means that I should be able to find it. All right. And here we go. I see a burned connector. Look at that. It's a burned connector. which means that somewhere nearby is probably your shit soldering. Do I see cold solder joints? Yes, I do. All right, it's this one. It's this one. Where you see cold solder joints, a mall repair shop is not far behind. Look at this shit. This fucking shit. All right, so that... All right, so now let's figure out what the fuck this is. So it says S45AV. Okay, so the chip that... S45AV. Okay, so what they did is they put the U4700 from the 2015 machine there. So now the fun part. What is that chip actually? So they let's see, what is that chip actually for? Okay, so according to the 2016 board view, that's U1900. So let's see what U1900 is. Okay, so check this out. This is fucking great. So what they did on the 2015 model, that chip is an SLG 4AP 645AV. On the 2016 model, that is a clock generator. So this mall store claims that my video told them to remove a chip that is designed for communication and replace it with a 25 megahertz clock generator. Oh, it's just a rectangle. It looks the same. It's just like a Lego. We could just take this Lego and put it in that Lego. Why don't I take your parents' pacemaker and replace it with a remote control? Or maybe like take your microwave and replace it with a toaster. Or take your ultrasonic cleaner and replace it with a rifle. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, 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 no. You don't take this chip and put it where this chip is supposed to go. This chip over here is used for something else. This over here has SPI data lines. It talks to the charger. This is a clock chip that generates a clock signal. This board is probably junk now because you are an idiot. And if you're watching this and you sent this to me, good. I don't care if you think I'm unprofessional. This is stupid. Don't destroy your customer's shit. This has the customer data soldered onto the fucking board. If you fuck this up, that customer will never, ever, ever get their data back ever again. And that's because you are an idiot. And you shouldn't be doing this. If you don't know how to figure it out, say, I don't fucking know. Go to this place. If you don't know how to figure it out, or you're confused, or if you can't read the name of a fucking chip to realize that two rectangles are not the same just because they're black little boxes, that's cool. Say, hey, I'm not sure. Don't do this because you're fucking with people's data. You can't get the data back on this if you fuck up the board. They're stuck sending this shit to some place like Drive Savers or something where they're going to charge them $5,000 or $40,000 to desolder the crap and try to decrypt it and probably fail, as you can see from Jess's recent video. But why? All right. So first thing I got to do is find a I don't think I even have that clock chip, so I got to find a donor 2016 board. Or maybe I can reuse the original chip that they have here. Let's see. So at least they included the original chip. Scotch tape to the fucking machine. Fucking idiots. It's really sad because of the amount of work that we put in on a regular basis to make this industry look more legitimate. The amount of lobbying work that we put in, the amount of arguing work that we put in, the amount of educational work we put in. Do you know how frustrating it is to put that much work and effort into a business and that much effort into legitimizing your ability to have a job when this is what you do with it? Because somewhere out there, there's some Apple lobbyists saying these people shouldn't be allowed to work on this stuff. We should be confiscating all their parts at the border. We should be suing them for this, that, and the other. And when I see shit like this, it's like, yeah, they got a point. People like you shouldn't be allowed to work on people's shit. All right. So. First thing I'm going to do, which they didn't do, is cover the keyboard connector and trackpad connector with a shield. Because if I cover it with a shield, I won't destroy it with hot air while I'm replacing this chip on the side. There's no excuse for this. And to be clear, I have no problem with somebody saying I don't know any better. Ignorance is totally okay. It's just not okay to ruin people's stuff when you're aware you have no idea what you're doing. You know you're probably making it worse. You don't even have the presence of mind to read the numbers on the top of the chip. You don't have the presence of mind to look for the schematic to find out that this chip is not the same chip. That's fucking lazy and stupid and irresponsible. That is just fucking lazy and irresponsible. And there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for this shit. Okay. Chip is off. So we're going to put the original back on. Because the clock chip has nothing to do with the fucking charging circuit. Okay, so according to my schematic and board view, pin 1 is in the bottom left. So I'm going to want to try to find the dot on the chip and have that be on the bottom left, because that's going to be its orientation. Okay. But this chip is really dirty, so I can't really see much. However, since it's on up, I'm going to use the text as the way of telling the orientation. Is that an iPhone shield? Yes, this is. This is an iPhone shield. Next, I'm gonna take the charging port out, plug it in, and see what I gotta do to get 20 volts. Is swapping a chip on a board something you could do with little or no experience? No experience at this size, you're probably going to mess something up. It really depends on the size of the chip. I would not suggest doing a micro soldering job with no experience. You know, if you want to practice, that's cool. I would just buy something cheap. Like get a broken flip phone or an old BlackBerry or some old, 9-year-old Acer laptop, and I would practice on that. That's for practice. And then work your way up to this. Okay. So this is going to get plugged in. When this is plugged in properly, this shield of the charging port goes under this, not over it. Alright, so we're going to plug this in and see what's going on. Okay, we're plugged in. So we're getting 20 volts now. Alright, so when the machine is outside its housing, it is getting 20 volts, and it's now turning on, now that it has its original proper chip on it. So we're getting somewhere. Now the next question is it actually turning on? So here what I'd like to do is check CPU vCore. And that's going to be somewhere, I think, around this side of the board on the... Now, my theory is that the reason it wasn't charging is because that charge port that was put in was not the correct port. It was not that it wasn't the correct port. Let me take that back. My theory as to why it wasn't charging is that the charging port was never plugged in all the way. As you saw, that little shield was sticking up on the side, so it wasn't making full contact. So what I'm going to do now is measure CPU vCore. Let's just get an idea of if we're actually getting it to turn on. Remember, these models do not have a fan that spins, so the only way for me to know if it turned on is to measure CPU vCore. So are we getting power? Alright. No CPU vCore, sadly. We do have 20 volts on the charger, though, so that isn't better than before. Let's see. And let's check out the chip I put on there. The dot. Let me see if I put that thing on the wrong way. That would be funny. Yeah, who is it that said don't assume the chip's or sexual orientation? Alright. Let's try that again. Don't assume my chipset's gender, bro. Alright, we're gonna... God bless editing. No, it's live stream, but not to main channel. Womp womp. Who said not to assume the chip's orientation? When the flux is clean, you can see the orientation on it better. Never assume a chip's orientation. Does your shop usually only work with Apple junk? Yes. No fix, no fee means you have to know the insides and outs of whatever you work on, or else you won't get paid. No fix, no fee free estimate means you need to know the ins and outs of whatever you work on, or you don't get paid. Chuck says, damn implicit bias. Yeah, that's what it is. And your privilege. Check that shit, mofo. There's my dot. Take two. TCRS says, I hope that chip didn't kill the CPU. I don't think it would, because the communication chip that was put there is really just for communication. I don't think it does. It's not a power creation chip. If it was a power creation chip, I could see how putting a power creation chip where the clock chip is supposed to go could kill the CPU, but I don't think this would kill this. I don't think what they did necessarily killed the CPU. For a communication chip to kill the CPU as opposed to a power chip, it would have to kill the CPU by hurting the CPU's feelings. I think it's really hard to hurt this machine's feelings. Alright, it's about as good as we're going to get. So now let's see what we get when we plug it in. So charger input, 20 volts, good, so we got charging. CPU V-core is 0 volts. Wait, I had a little spike there for a moment. What is that? I get a spike for a second of 0.1 something. Hey, 0.5. Okay, so we've got... What? Yeah. There we go. Turn it on. Alright, so now the next thing I gotta do is see if it'll charge a battery. This is pretty cool. CPU V-core. Bada bing, bada boom. Will you recognize a battery within the operating system? What did the shopping mall replace the clock chip with? They replaced the clock chip with this, for the person that just asked. Let me see if I can get that on the screen. That's not my schematic. That's my schematic. Okay, so they replaced this, which is the clock chip, with this, which is for something else entirely. Charger communication, bidirectional data line with charger. That's no good. As my girlfriend would say, why you do this? So, we're gonna put this back together and see if we have something resembling a working computer. I got a killer deal on a HAKKO FM204, and since using it, no way I'm going back to old tech. Yep. Alright, let's get this back together. Let's make this MacBook great again. They converted this MacBook to a PC. I'm going to convert it back to a MacBook. Remember, we still got to see that, make sure that it can charge a battery. My guess is that what happened here is the original charge port was bad. They replaced the charge port with a good charge port, but because they didn't plug it in properly, it wasn't charging. So then they thought, let me look on YouTube for how to fix not charging, and then saw me replace a rectangle on the board, so they replaced that rectangle on the board with an entirely different rectangle, and had a charging port not plugged in, and then gave up. That makes sense. So I think this may have actually never had a charging problem when it was sent here. It had a charging problem when the customer originally brought it to this store. And here's the really sad and screwed up part of this, right? So I'm going to be charging this store for board repair. They're going to be charging their customer at the very least what I'm charging them. So if this customer had come to any other store, all they would have needed was a charge port, and all they would have paid for was a charge port. This store's customer is likely going to be paying for board repair that they did not need until they brought it to this store, which is ridiculously unfair, but the way the world works. So, which is sad. Okay, so how do I fold this thing around? It's like this, right? Yeah, there we go. So it goes like this. This little 12-inch mofo. It's gonna go like this. Okay. Hopefully the rest of this machine is not effed. Hopefully that keyboard trackpad connector still works. 'Cause I don't have one of those to replace it with. Wait a second. Why am I even dealing with headphone jack right now? We just want to see if it charges. All I need for that is my screen. I don't want to add any other variables yet. Battery screw. Ooh, alright, let's cover the name. Is that a full motherboard with CPU and memory and all? Yes, and SSD. The SSD is soldered onto the board here. Alright, so it says 1%. Cover up the name. Let's see if it charges. So we're at 1%, and I'm going to want to see if it gets to higher than 1%. I'm going to leave it here for a little bit and go off to do something else, and I'll be right back in a few minutes. Looks like we're still at 1%. So we're going to wait for this to charge for a little bit. I believe in you. I believe in you. Bob McCabe says, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Stale popcorn. Now you're making me hungry. You know what? I think I'm going to get myself a fruit bowl. Maybe a coconut fruit bowl? I could use a coconut fruit bowl. Someone said YouTube just recommended your personal channel and watch your Don't Yell in Front of Kids video. I wish more people were outspoken about bad parenting. Me too. Come on, get me to 2%. 2%. I guess battery's never going to charge if you're watching it. I should probably stop watching it and get some food. Back. That was good. Alright, let's see if this thing charged. So, we started at 1%, and it looks like we are up to 5%. Now, the one way to check and ensure that this is actually charging and not fake charging is to unplug the charger and see if the machine remains on. So I'm gonna unplug my charger and see if it remains on. And it does, and it actually jumped up to 6%. So now it's on, and it is able to charge the battery, and everything works. So that is how you fix a machine that was fucked up by a terrible mall franchise. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.